CD Projekt Red is responsible for some of the best franchises in modern gaming, The Witcher and Cyberpunk, and with Phantom Liberty putting an end to Cyberpunk 2077, they look ahead to what's next. And CD Projekt Red, unlike other companies, are quite open when it comes to their development plans, staff numbers, and who is working on what game, and what games they even have in the pipeline. Now, we have seen these photos before of CD Projekt Red's plans, but they have recently posted updated numbers on their social media pages, and with Phantom Liberty being done and dusted and in more of a maintenance mode, we look ahead to what's next for CD Projekt Red. Now let's take a look at what's coming. So looking at the pipeline, we have The Witcher, Cyberpunk, and a new IP. So first off, let's go through these Witcher games. So the first Witcher game is codenamed Polaris, developed by CD Projekt Red and is now currently in pre-production. This is going to be the next game in the Witcher series, and is also otherwise known as The Witcher 4. Now, similar to The Witcher 1, 2, and 3, Witcher 4 is expected to start a new trilogy for the franchise. It's going to be a new saga and also going to be with a new character, because we saw in The Witcher 3 it was a good end to Geralt's story. So it's going to be continuing in the world of The Witcher. It's still going to have that same awesome world building, the great storytelling, and just everything The Witcher 3 is known so well for. The Witcher Polaris, or Witcher 4, is currently the main focus of CD Projekt Red. It now currently has 403 developers working on that project, so we know that's the main focus and the main game that they are working on at the moment, which is quite exciting. It's been a wee while since we've had another Witcher game. Witcher 3 has been out for quite a wee while now, along with the DLCs, so it's good to know that that is the next game they've got in their main pipeline. The Witcher 4 is also getting a development shift. It's going from their engine they have used before with Cyberpunk and The Witcher 3, they are now moving to Unreal Engine 5. So that may also add a year or two of adapting to that engine. So The Witcher 4 is definitely going to be a massive game, so we're probably not going to get any news or probably any even gameplay for another year or two. I would say we probably wouldn't see anything maybe at the end of 2025 if we're lucky, otherwise something in 2026, but it is definitely a long way away. But by the looks of it, their main bulk of their forces, their developers, I've been playing too much games, is working on The Witcher 4, so it's good to know that it's in good hands and is the main focus. Now moving along, we have got The Witcher Sirius. So this is being developed by the Molasses Flood with support from CD Projekt Red. Project Sirius is a bit different compared to Polaris with Witcher 4. It is considered a Witcher spin-off. It's going to be a single-player focused Witcher game with multiplayer elements as well, and it's planned to appeal apparently to a broader audience. They definitely have said already that it's not going to be a full-fledged RPG experience that we're accustomed to in The Witcher 3. So The Witcher Sirius is going to be more general and more accessible compared to your bigger giant RPG. It's being developed by the Molasses Flood, which is a CD Projekt Red studio, but they previously started up as an indie studio and worked on The Flame and the Flood and Drake Hollow. Both feature less realistic, more cartoony kind of art styles. So not your typical art style you'd see in The Witcher 3 and probably what we're going to expect in The Witcher 4. So this may be sticking to that same art style when it comes to Project Sirius. According to some quotes, it's definitely not a mobile game, so it's not going to be that broad and that general. But the main target that they're going for is people that are interested in the Witcher franchise. Maybe they picked it up from the TV show, but aren't necessarily wanting to play a giant, full-fledged RPG experience. I don't know about you, but I love those RPG experiences, but of course there's people out there that might want a more streamlined experience, and this is probably what that demographic or what Sirius is going to be going for. Just from other details I have seen over the internet is that Project Sirius most likely won't be an open world game. So it's going to be definitely sounding more streamlined, a more streamlined Witcher experience for the more general casual audience for The Witcher. This is also currently in pre-production, so it's sort of at that same stage as The Witcher Polaris. And we can see that there's about 37 people working on Project Sirius. Not sure if that is combined with the Molasses Flood or if it's just from CD Projekt Red alone. At least we know there is quite a substantial amount working on Sirius at the moment. Now next up, and the final Witcher game in the pipeline, is the Witcher 1 remake. So this is being developed by Fool's Theory and supported by CD Projekt Red. And compared to the other two games which are in pre-production, this is currently still in the concept phase, so quite a wee way off before the Witcher remake ever sees the light of day. So Fool's Theory has just recently released the Thaumaturge, so now that they're done with that, they can begin looking towards the Witcher remake along with CD Projekt Red. The Thaumaturge was a great game, smaller experience, but it had a very good story, had engrossing enemy designs, and a very engrossing setting from history combined with dark fantasy elements. So I do think that the Witcher remake is in good hands, especially with support from CD Projekt Red. Not much to say about The Witcher remake. It's going to be a remake of the original game that came out quite a wee while ago, and it would be a good point to get into the Witcher franchise because the first Witcher game has definitely aged not very well. It's quite difficult to play it nowadays. You can still play it, but it would be just good to see The Witcher remade. So The Witcher remake would be a good way for the modern audience to jump into where it all started, where it all began, and just see Geralt's story. But of course that's going to be a long way off, currently in the concept phase, but it depends how crazy they're going with The Witcher remake, because The Witcher 1 is a lot smaller compared to The Witcher 3. So who knows, it may end up releasing at the same time as The Witcher 4. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it to see how that goes. So those were the Witcher games. We had Project Polaris and Sirius, which are both in pre-production with the respective studios, and the Witcher remake, which is in the concept phase. So moving right along, we have the Cyberpunk franchise and codename Orion. So due to the success of Cyberpunk 2077, we are definitely getting a sequel in that universe and that whole franchise, and this is what Project Orion is. It is currently in the concept phase and has 47 people working on the project at the moment. When looking at all the games that CD Projekt Red currently has in development, it is the second highest number of developers working on that. So after The Witcher 4, Cyberpunk 2 does look like it's their next highest priority, with CD Projekt Red even opening a new studio in Boston that is going to be focused solely on producing Orion. Of course, Cyberpunk 2 is going to be building on what we saw in the original game and the DLC. We also saw a show that did very well on Netflix that expanded the Cyberpunk universe even more. So I'd say we're going to see a lot more stuff coming in the Cyberpunk franchise, but Cyberpunk 2 is definitely the next priority for CD Projekt Red. Cyberpunk 2 is currently in the concept phase. We haven't seen much else about the details of what's going to be in this game, but expect more of that same gritty universe we've seen in the first game. And finally, we have the new IP, which is called Hadar. So CD Projekt Red have done very well for The Witcher and also have done very well over time with the Cyberpunk franchise. Now that CD Projekt Red has two massive pillars in The Witcher and Cyberpunk, they are now looking to add a third franchise or third IP into that mix, which is what Hadar is. It's being developed by CD Projekt Red, but is quite early in terms of the stages. It's currently in the IP concept phase, so it's not even in the concept. It's sort of more, they're trying to figure out their branding, trying to figure out what this thing even is. So compared to the Witcher games and Cyberpunk Orion, we've got no details at all. We just know that something else is coming sometime in the next 10 years. Who knows? It's definitely a long way away. But just looking at what they've done with The Witcher and medieval fantasy, and then Cyberpunk, which is literally a cyberpunk setting, outside of those, there is various other settings they could go for. I definitely would say they're going to be picking a different setting that is way left field from what they've currently been working on. They may even switch genres completely. They might not go for a open world RPG experience. It could be completely something different. But honestly, they have very core strengths in this open world RPG experience, so they might just transport that to another setting. People are suggesting that they could go into a Western setting with cowboys. They could go into, the other one that I did see is modern fantasy. So basically taking the mythical beast from The Witcher and planting that into a more modern setting in today's kind of world. I don't know, I'm just pulling at straws, but these are people's suggestions and theories of what's been popping up on the internet in regards to Hadar. They could even ditch their open world RPG system altogether, and who knows, they could be making a platformer. But with The Witcher success and the eventual cleanup and success of Cyberpunk, I'd say Hadar is in good hands. So CD Projekt Red are definitely keeping busy. So to summarize, we've got The Witcher, Polaris, Sirius, and The Witcher remake. Polaris and Sirius are in the pre-production phase and would be probably the next priority for CD Projekt Red. We have got The Witcher remake and Orion, which are in the concept phase. Gonna be a long way away before we even hear anything in regards to those. And then followed by Hadar, which is a new IP, which is something they're going to be expanding on at some point, but who knows where that is going to be going. So CD Projekt Red are definitely keeping busy. I love their games, especially The Witcher, and despite Cyberpunk's rocky launch, they stuck with it and pulled it back, and I have very high hopes for whatever comes next. Now this was more of an overview of what games they are currently working on. I can go into more detail for each specific game in another video because we can get into a pretty deep dive. So let me know what game you're looking forward to the most. Personally, I am psyched to see The Witcher 4. The Witcher 3 was a great game. It definitely has aged a bit, but I have gone back to it every now and again just to experience that story, that world, and just some of the side quests are better than what you'd see in a game's main story. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. Like this video if you enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more videos like these. I'll be definitely keeping an eye on what we hear about The Witcher games. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.